All right, so
Okay.
we should introduce ourselves. Liz, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Liz. Liz Strauss. I'm the teen slash outreach services manager here at the Dover Public Library in Dover, Ohio. And my counterpart is Mallory.
Hey, everybody. I am the adult manager at Dover Library. Sorry, I'll move to this one. I'm the adult department manager at Dover Public Library. I used to work in the children's department because children are awesome. Um, so this is a bit of a change. I am still planning to be involved doing Reading Dragons anyway, because it's awesome.
It's a lot of fun.
So we're so glad that you are here today. Today, Liz is going to be showing you how to use Fire Alpaca to design a dragon or unicorn or griffin card so that you creative librarians out there can use your inspiration to design special cards that are unique to your library. And also, if you want to share them with the rest of the group so we can use them at our libraries, that would be great too, but not required. And while she's doing that and going over like the tutorial, I will be fitting in answers to the questions that you submitted in the Q&A. But you are also welcome to ask more questions in the chat window. Or if you have experiences that would answer the same questions that I am answering, everyone has different experiences and different things that worked for them. So if you could also share those insights in the chat as well, that would be very useful.
Thanks.
Yeah, so one of the things we wanted to do was to do some shout outs to some really cool people who've been involved with the Reading Dragons. I first want to say thank you, Sammy Bettler, and all of your coworkers at Casey Public Library in Kentucky. You guys have been awesome supporters of this program, and I receive a lot of emails from librarians interested in this program because she told them about it. Like, that is so awesome. Thank you, Sammy.
Okay. Got special shout out to Kelly Robertson of the Central Arkansas Library System for creating the adorable Cerberus template. It is awesome. I'm so excited to play with it.
Super cute.
So cute. And so now we can make Cerberus cards as well. So I have lots of ideas for fun three-headed creatures.
Yeah. And then we just wanted to thank all of our creative library folks who have shared cards with the group. Leah Birch of Camas, Washington, Jennifer Ensign of Cameron, Missouri, Chris DeBauer of Belleville, Illinois, Justina Fuller of Altoona, Pennsylvania.
Rachel I hope I'm saying that right, of Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, Tamika Chesney of Tennessee, Susan Christensen of Spanish Fork, Utah, Chloe, oh, I'm so sorry, Klepatsky. She didn't warn me that she would make me read these names, by the way, of Dowling Public Library. Aaron Coppersmith of Kohler Public Library in Wisconsin, Becky Butler of Wayland, Michigan. Thank you so much for sharing all of your creativity with us and helping the Reading Dragons grow.
Yeah, so this is like a really big project for just one library to do. So like having all of that work that you guys put into it too really grows the program and makes it more valuable to everyone. So thank you.
Alrighty. So today I'm going to be working in a program called Fire Alpaca. This is a free digital art tool, and I love it because it is free basically, and it's really, really powerful for being free. A lot of times some other programs will like, well, this doesn't quite work, but it's free, so you deal with a lot. Not so with Fire Alpaca. It can read and save Photoshop files. It has the layers that we need. It like Photoshop and Procreate. It has a place to save your colors. You can download free brushes. It has everything you need to make these dragons, and griffins and unicorns and Cerberuses for
Super.
free. So that's why I love it so much. And before I get started with sharing my screen and designing a creature, got some tools to show you. This is my drawing tablet. It's fairly large. Yes. It works with a pen, and then like this makes this pressure sensitive on here, and it makes it really easy to sorry, cord making noise. It makes it really easy to draw on your programs. So this one is a Huion, and it's a pretty big one. I do like the Huion brand. They are very nice and they're pretty affordable. This one was about $60, and like one about this big from Wacom, the like name brand, is like 100. So these are really good starter tablets, and they're really, really nice. They come in very handy. So you don't need one, and you certainly don't need one this big to do this, but it does help, and I do use it quite a bit. So I wanted to show you guys what that was like.
So yes, can you put the link to the drawing tablet you're
Yes.
using in chat or email?
Yes, I will find that. Well, let's see. Nope, not Wacom. We don't like Huion.
If you want to get really fancy, they have some tablets that are the screen, so that you can see exactly what you're drawing on.
Yeah, that's like, is this the one? This one's close. I don't think it's exactly the same, because I got mine 3 years ago. Where am I? There I am. Nope. And it, yeah, I got it 3 years ago. So they've upgraded, and they've also kind of gone down in price a little bit. Like, they're always shifting. One of the ones with the screen like on it is on my wish list. I do like those, are very, very nice, but those are also very expensive. So
another option is tablets like iPads and Microsoft Surface. They have these special pens, Apple pens or whatever, Microsoft as well, so that you can turn your iPad or tablet into a drawing tablet.
Yeah. I already had a laptop, so I just got that. So okay, I'm gonna start sharing my screen now. If I can remember how to do that. Okay, and we're gonna go into Fire Alpaca. So this is, oh, this is strange. Okay, get out of my way. All right, so this is Fire Alpaca, and this is what I use whenever I create a dragon or whatever else we want to make. And we'll kind of get started here. Does anybody have a request for what kind of creature to make? I can't actually see the chat.
Yeah, the chat disappeared on mine too. Hold on. Oh, fairy dragon, strawberry dragon. Those are all great ideas and would be very cute. We can also do griffins and unicorns too. Those are on the table. Unfortunately, Cerberus is not on the table yet because we have
Bumblebee
opened that file.
Oh, how cute.
Bumblebee. Aw.
All right. I don't think you guys can actually, no, you guys can't see my spinny wheel, but I'm going to spin a wheel to the side. And it's a dragon. Okay. All right, so we'll go in back here. Okay, so
Oh, Halloween dragon. That's cool.
ooh, lots of good ideas. Okay, so we'll go. I'm gonna have to move this. Can I just, there we go. Okay. All right, so this is the messy bit of the file here. We have folders for each of the stages on this side. Just want to make sure you can see.
Yes.
Okay, you can see the mouse.
Your window on the side might be covering up some important stuff, so you might want to minimize the window that shows all the other participants.
So each stage has a folder. And then this little dot over here is what is visible. So right now they are all visible. So we're going to just take out some. So we just see the egg. And then when you're done with the egg, you can switch to the other one. Now to see all the layers in there, we click this and it opens up the folder, and there are tons and tons of layers. Now the reason there are so many layers is because for each different color, we have a different layer, and that makes it easier. Maybe not the first time that you do that, the first time you set it up, but in the future when you are like recoloring, it helps to do it quickly and more efficiently that way.
Yeah, so in our files, there are these templates. These are the Fire Alpaca templates. There are some other versions of these templates that simplify how many layers there are. So if this is overwhelming for you, there is a simplified one that has like 3 layers per creature. But yeah, so this one is like the most detailed, and it has shading, and it's very cool.
Well, thank you. So just to like, if you have any questions, make sure you put them in chat, and Mallory will show me.
Someone put Sonic the Hedgehog dragon.
Oh, we will have to do all of these.
At some point.
Yes.
Aw,
We have a couple of Halloween ones.
yes.
So anyway, what struck me was Strawberry Dragon,
Mm,
because I don't think we have a Strawberry Dragon,
We
so
don't.
we'll try that. So I just want to go over a couple of the weird layers that I have on here. So this is helper layer, and this just adds a red background, and it helps me like if I have to change the white outline, or if I have to make sure like that it's gonna look okay. It's just there to help me. Eye correction. Actually, I'll put that back on so you can see what this is. This is the whites of the eyes, and it just helps because when we save them as a transparent PNG. So if you leave this layer off, like the white of the eye is then transparent.
Yeah, you'll see whatever is on the background behind it.
Yeah.
Someone suggested a Mario themed dragon for the summer movie that just came out.
Ooh. We do have,
yeah.
I have a mushroom, and I have, Pink Boss, which is, who is that? It's like the pink
Little
villain
girl.
with the bow. Yeah, anyway. Let's see, strawberry. So we'll just, I don't think I've ever had anybody watch me do this live before, so bear with me. So we've got all body, which is just the main color. And up here I have protect alpha, which means I won't be able to draw outside of that color. So this is why this is cool. So I can go over here to my color picker. First, I'm actually going to clear out my palette real quick. So this is from a different project that I was working on, but you can save your colors.
Oh, that's so useful.
Yeah. So when we pick out our strawberry color, Like a little pinky red. We'll give it a second. So you pick your color up here. And then I'm going to make my brush huge, which is on the bottom right here. So 2000. And I'm going to like, it's one click and now it's colored from orange to pink. And if I like that color, I can save it by clicking the little, looks like a new paper. You can put a name. I usually don't because these are usually just temporary for me. And then I can keep going.
Someone recommended a ballet dragon like Spider-Gwen. Super cool.
So then I just work my way up. So body shade. And you can play with the opacity to make that darker, to make it lighter, to find where you like it. I don't know how important shading is. I just do it because it's how I learned. I used to color, this is gonna sound really weird and really geeky. I used to color My Little Ponies, like digital art for people. And this is how that shop did it. So this is how I do things now. And I'm just crazy. So let's see. So similarly, I'll just keep going up and picking out colors for the different parts and messing with the shading. So if you have any questions while I'm doing that, be sure to put them in chat and we'll keep going.
So while she starts coloring the dragon to become a strawberry dragon, I will go over some of the questions that we received in the survey. Someone asked about designing a custom dragon using Procreate, which is an app for the iPad. For this session, we're just going to show Fire Alpaca because it is a free program and it is accessible on Windows computers, which is the most commonly used computers. And Liz is also our Fire Alpaca expert. I use Procreate, which is available on iPad, and it only costs like $13. Although when I got it was like 20. And it's a great program. It's not a monthly fee type of thing like with Photoshop. That's one of the reasons I left Photoshop for Procreate is because of that monthly fee. So we're not going to cover Procreate today, but if there is enough interest in seeing how it's done in Procreate, we could do that in the future. But most of the tools and things that are available in Procreate, they just look a little bit different or they're placed a little bit differently than they are in Fire Alpaca, but in general, they have the same abilities. So someone asked, what is the Reading Dragons and how does this work as an incentive? The Reading Dragons program gives children collectible cards to reward them for reading. We started this program to encourage students to come to the library during the school year and reward them for reading. And if we get them in the library, we can help reluctant readers find books that they might really want to read and light their fire for reading. We also wanted to make sure that this program is rewarding and not discouraging to kids who struggle with reading. I'm sure you guys have had experiences with other reading programs, we don't want to name names, that have some really good aspects, but also some really challenging aspects to them. So for ours, like you are welcome to change the program to fit the needs of your library, but for ours, we use time as our tracking method. For every 30 minutes a child spends reading, they get to check off a box and earn a card. Although we don't give out cards until they complete a set of 4 cards. That just makes it easier. I'll talk about that later. But doing time as the method of tracking rewards effort rather than skill, which we feel is very important. But if you want to change that, you can. We also don't make it a competitive system. where like the kids know how much everybody else is reading. We don't want to pit them against each other. We want them just to focus on their own stuff. Also, our local schools, they require students to read about 30 minutes a day. So using the same amount of time as they use just makes it easier for them to keep track of both things.
Hey, what? Ooh. Oh, we also took inspiration from Pokemon cards and like collectibles like that. And I mentioned digital pets earlier, that I was involved with that. And there's just something about collecting them that gets people interested, and even, grown adults, love collecting Pokemon cards and love doing all this stuff. And it's just kind of trending now, and we wanted to take advantage of that and get something that they can earn for free. It's all, no money, it's just reading.
Jen asked, has anyone used Beanstack instead of paper trackers? We have not. Our library is a little small to afford Beanstack, unfortunately. But I'm sure there might be other people who have had experience with that. So if you would like to talk about that in the chat, you can. Okay, and Sean Bryce asked if we print the cards ourselves or Shauna, sorry, Shauna, or get them professionally printed, and what is the cost? So actually that's the next thing on my list of things to talk about. So yeah, what is the price or cost of the program? And this could actually be answering two different questions. One is that all of the files for this program are free to school and public libraries.
Oops.
But how much does it cost to print the cards and use the materials for this program? So because each library serves communities of different sizes, it doesn't make sense to just give you a lump sum of what this costs our library as a whole each season we do it. So I've broken down the cost per child if each child collects the maximum amount of cards they can earn per season. So the cost per child for our library and how we set it up, because you can actually change how many cards they can earn for whatever your program is, or you can run your program longer or shorter. But we run our program from September to April during the school season. They can earn a total of 131 cards, and that also includes the 3 starter cards that they receive when they get their first tracker, so that they can play the initial program. Initial game, which is like rock, paper, scissors. And it costs about $3.02 per kid. So that includes the 131 cards. It includes those cards printed on cardstock. It's just a 90-pound cardstock from Amazon that we use. And it also includes printing out the reading tracker for that season. And also, if you want to include a checklist of what they can collect. We don't so much provide the checklist to all the kids anymore because we are making the cards monthly, so we don't have those ahead of time to print out on a sheet for them. But we do have like a big checklist that we keep adding to. So whenever they come in, it makes picking out their cards so much easier. So instead of flipping through our book to look through all of the cards, they are looking at a sheet with all of the representations of the cards on them. So I guess now we actually spend $2.82 per child. So of course, if you serve a community with lots of children, you are going to be spending more, but your library's probably also has a bigger budget for those things as well. And if you have a smaller library and you serve a smaller community, it downscales and it's a little less expensive. Yeah. So no, we don't print them ourselves. There's a library that has had them printed professionally, not just by like a general printer, but by a printer who professionally prints card games and board games, which was really cool. But it's like something that was local to them. So that was very neat. If anybody wants to share what they use or how they print theirs, you can do that in the chat. Jeanette Thrain says, remind me again the months you run the program. Was it September through May, the school year? So yeah, we do ours September through April. So the reason we don't start at the very beginning of the school year, we basically don't do a lot of children's programming in the months of August or in the month of May. And that is mostly so we can prepare for our next stint of programming. And also to get kids, like give kids time to do other things. Because like in May, you know, school's wrapping up, the kids just want to be out there and go have their summer vacation and all of that. And we're gearing up for summer reading. And that is just a whole lot of work. So not having anything that we have to work on for that month of May is very helpful to us. And then in August, the kids are going back to school. And, you know, that's a lot for them to really deal with because they're, you know, got a new classroom, they've got new teachers. So we let them acclimate to their school life. And we also have that time to prepare for our own programming during the school year. Let's see. Leah from Camus said that they get their cards professionally printed. They have a budget of about $4,000 each year for the Reading Dragons program. And you use it all. Wow, that's awesome. You must have a really great community and lots of kids to serve. So that is really great. The printer I use is a professional board game maker that is in my town. Yeah, you guys, yeah, it must be you guys. And you had like the little yellow border. It was so nice. Yeah, that's really, really cool. Janet Thrain says having those down months built in is great. Yes, yes, they are. And Melissa, oops. Come on. Sorry, my chat window is not working for me. Melissa Tallis says we laminate our cards to make them more sturdy and feel more official. That's a good plan too. Yeah, the laminating can really make them last longer. It can also be a lot of time and a lot more work, but like if you can do it, that's the way to go. Get them professionally done, laminate them, do something that makes them really feel special. Becky would like more information about that professional board game printer. All right, so if you could share that in the chat with them, that would be awesome. I have another question from the survey. Does my library need to offer 131 cards per child? The short answer is no. You can offer whatever amount of cards you want. You are welcome to adjust the program to fit the needs of your community and the resources and time available to you. But how do you do that? So our library sets a limit of 4 card families each month. A card family is a set of 4 matching cards of an egg, baby, teen, and adult creature. Each month, the kids can collect 4 of these families, which is a total of 16 cards. So if you want to reduce the number of cards you give out, you could just adjust the number of card families that they can earn on their tracker each month. So if you want to just do 3 each month, or if you want to do more each month, you can. Or another suggestion from Liz. Do you want to talk about the not using all the stages?
Sure. Yeah. So when I initially thought up this thing, my idea was that they would read to kind of grow the dragon. So it's not a family in my head, it's one dragon and different stages of that dragon. And so like to grow up the egg, they have to read, and then it becomes a baby, and then they read more, and it's like it's nurturing them, and they grow up and become the adult. and so like now we kind of more think of it as families, but um to reduce how many cards you would have and then hence your cost, you could just have the adult version. Or if there's one that looks better, like the baby, like we just did a Nutcracker series last year. Like if you wanted Clara as a baby, or like if you'd liked a different form for one of the themes, you could just use that one. And then you could go like that and just use one form basically. And you're cutting your cards by, you know, yeah, you just have a quarter of the cards then.
Misty has a question. Where do you get all your brushes?
All right. So I was looking I was looking for like the strawberry seeds. I think I'm gonna have to go in and do those manually. Which is cool for you guys because you get to see how I do that. But all of these brushes, not all of them came with Fire Alpaca, but they are all from Fire Alpaca. So I'm gonna like kind of check here if it will follow the sharing screen. But you hit this little storefront. I think you should be able to see at least the icon. Yeah, you can see my mouse on the icon. So you go there. Okay, and it does, yeah. And you can, yeah, you can have a look at all of these cool things that they have, and these are all free. And they have more all the time. Like, ooh, roses. And just yeah, I'm over here getting really, really ooh, those roses will come in handy though.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have plans for things. So just all of these different brushes that you can use. Oh, cool. For anyway, yeah. So that's where I get them all. There might be a way to import like Photoshop brushes, but I haven't done that. I found that they have so many that these usually fill my needs, except when I need strawberry seeds. So
Oh, if there's like a raindrop brush, that might work. But it might have a weird scatter pattern.
there's a soft droplet. There's I'll look again. I did find a strawberry brush though.
That's cute.
It doesn't quite match my colors, but that's fine. Anyway,
Okay,
I'll continue.
So she's going to continue drawing, and I'll continue answering questions. So somebody asked, if a kid only reads for 2 of the 4 days per week, then do they just get 2 cards for that week instead of the 4? Do they still have a chance to finish that family of 4? Great question. But so that's not exactly what we had in mind when we set up the tracker. Yes, we have 4 rows of 4 check boxes, but it doesn't have to be per week. It's just for the whole month. Like, say you have a very avid reader who spends a ton of time reading, they might finish that in 1 week. They might finish all 4 rows in 1 week. That's okay. Somebody who might not spend as much time reading, it might take them the whole month, or maybe they had some other stuff going on and they didn't finish it for that month. That's okay. We let the kids complete the months that they didn't finish, so that like in the next month they can continue working on the unfinished ones in the previous month. Let's see. So we do recommend, or at least this is what works best for us, when they are collecting cards, we make sure that they have a full row of 4 marked off before we hand out the cards. That's mostly to help us keep track of what they've done and to help them keep track of what they've done, because otherwise they'll be like, oh, I'm gonna get this one, and so they'll start one, and then the next time they come back they'll forget completely which one that they were getting. So it's just easier if you just give them the cards when they complete the row.
Oops.
So, but yeah, we're pretty lenient with the kids when they're completing trackers. Even though we don't really run the program in the month of May, like we aren't adding new content or anything like that, we allow kids to complete, like keep working towards finishing their trackers. And anyway, we let them work towards completing their trackers and bringing in their trackers to collect the cards from the year. So month of May, we'll still accept trackers, even though we're not really effectively running the program in that month. But you can, of course, determine what rules suit your library best, and whatever works for you is what you should do. So this question is, I would like to hear about tips on printing and cutting them. Currently, we are using our laser color printer to print the cards on light cardstock and cutting them by hand. We are thinking about transitioning to a paper with perforated cards and curious to hear about the printing and cutting process for others. Well, that's an interesting idea with the perforated cards. We currently also use a laser printer. It's a giant Konica Minolta that is available for public use as well. We purchase an inexpensive cardstock on Amazon. It is 90-pound cardstock, runs through the printer very well.
Usually.
Well, the thicker cardstock doesn't even want to go through the printer. So yeah. It's just an inexpensive cardstock. But you guys shared some of your methods for printing already. So we will move on. Liz, would you like to answer the question of, do you really leave the cards blank on the back?
Yes, I will answer that question. Yes, we do. The reason being is our machine does not like to do, sorry, I'm doing two things at once here, and it's very, like, what do you mean you won't? What did I do? What did I do, guys? Anyhow, I'll fix this later. Our machine doesn't like to do two-sided cardstock, so that's one reason we just leave the back blank. The other reason is we've simplified the program a lot since we first did it, since we first started. So we used to have like different areas that you would find the dragons in. There was a map involved. There was a whole journey and a whole adventure. And that was like, it was too much. It was too much to keep track of for our staff. It was too much for our kids to kind of understand. And it was too much on the like cards themselves. The backgrounds were kind of busy, and it was a lot to keep track of, like, oh, where does this dragon live and all that stuff. And when we did that, I think we did have backs to the cards, but we found it was just easier all around
and cheaper
just to leave it blank. And I don't think anybody has ever complained about it.
Nope.
So
yeah, it just makes it a lot easier, especially like, I don't know if you guys have printer frustrations where things don't align when you print them double-sided and you're like cutting really close to an edge. It can be very frustrating. Oh, here's one for you. Becky asked, is there a way of creating a pattern and applying it to the rest of the dragon?
Oh, I probably
kind of similar to what she's doing now a little bit.
But I'm doing it by hand, and it's like, okay, well, it'll look good. And like one of the art YouTubers I follow, I forget which one, because I follow quite a few. They say like art always goes through an ugly phase. I feel like this is my dragon's ugly phase. So just bear with me. But for the other ones, like the other stages, I think it'll be a lot easier. Like once I create this layer of, or this section of seeds, I can then copy it into the other creatures, hopefully, and it'll be good. So a couple buttons I'm using a lot here are this little down thing. This merges your layer that you're on with the layer underneath. So I'm merging all of these seeds together. And now like they're all on one layer, so that will be helpful. And then I can go through and erase like the bits that I don't need, that I accidentally put there, and bits like in this, and just go through and fix him up. You don't need, seeds everywhere, but yeah. So there might be an easier way, but I don't know it. So this is the way I'm doing it today. And then, next week I'll find the easier way and I'll go like, "Ark." But
I have a
it'll,
shortcut for you sometime.
oh no.
Okay. So how do you decide which type to make your dragons? In Pokemon, there are 18 types, so plenty of options to slot things into. In the Reading Dragon system, there are only 3 types. So I have a hard time deciding where to put something like a ghost dragon or something more abstract. Yes. Yeah, so Pokemon's awesome. I love all the different types. I'm still waiting for them to make new EVs and more evolutions. But anyway, because our game works on a rock, paper, scissors style gameplay, we only have 3 types. So it's a functional thing. So we have red, blue, and green, which could be represented by fire, water, and plants. Also, like the starter types of Pokemon. Because people are very familiar with that. It makes sense to them. Obviously, water's going to put out fire, fire's going to burn up plants, and plants can suck up that water. So it's already a built-in system that people understand. So when I'm designing a dragon and deciding what type it should be, this might not be a helpful answer. It's really up to you what you want to do. But when I'm deciding if the design is elemental in nature, it's really easy. Anything fiery or hot, I'd put in red. Anything aquatic or watery, I would put in blue, and anything plant-like in green. But there's all these other things that don't fit into those categories. So for more abstract designs, I might just use a background that complements the color of the design. Or often we'll release 3 designs a month, and I will just choose one design to go on each colored background. That way it stays balanced. Yeah, so it's up to whatever makes sense to you. Mostly, yeah, if it's elemental, yes, fit it to the element, but otherwise I just try to keep it balanced and have one in each type when I release sets of cards.
And I took that question to mean something entirely different. But in a similar fashion, I took that question to be more about like, how do you choose between, hey, sorry, again, doing 2 things at once. I took that to mean like, how do you decide whether you do a dragon, a unicorn, or a griffin, or now a Cerberus? And what I try to do with those is I try to balance them, because we started with dragons. We obviously have a lot more. So yeah, we have a lot more dragons. So I'll try to, undo button is my friend. I'll try to do the other forms and like focus on those. And then, again, we usually do 3 a month, so I'll try to do, I'll try to do like one of each type. And since we have a 4th creature now, I can even skip the dragon sometimes and
let
and
the
do
other
it
ones
that way.
catch up.
Yeah, a little bit. They're never going to catch up,
They're never
really,
gonna catch
but
up to dragons.
but we'll get the friends in there. And if there's we have so many theme ideas. Like we did a whole Wizard of Oz like series last year, and I have so many ideas for ones based on banned books and Alice in Wonderland and all that stuff. So when I'm choosing like which type of dragon to make or friend to make, if it's a bird, it's going to be a griffin. If it's a horse, it's going to be a unicorn. Like I just try to think what will match that style
Mhm.
the best. So
Yeah,
hope that helps.
let me reference this real quick. Kelly Robinson, who made the Cerberus peppers, she did a really great design that was Nia Pepperton. Was it Nia? I think it was called Nia Pepperton.
Oh,
It
that's
was
funny.
Neapolitan ice cream. So each of the heads was, a different flavor of ice cream. And that was like a brilliant design choice.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that can also be helpful. Um, all right, I have a question. It's another printing one. We have a small inkjet printer at our library and worried about keeping up with printing. 131 cards per kid is a lot. Granted, not all cards will get that many. Has this been an issue? We've been brainstorming ways to decrease the total number of cards. So we don't print all of the cards at one time because obviously, not all of the kids are going to collect all their cards, or they might not collect all of the same cards. So, and if you're thinking about storage issues, it would be a storage issue to print all the cards at one time. So we release our cards incrementally. So you might want to start out with 6 or 7 card sets, so that kids have options. But whenever we print the cards, we only print 1 sheet of each card at a time. So that's 9 cards per sheet. So we have 9 of each card that we have in our binder. And when it gets low to like 3 or 2 cards left, we'll print another sheet and add that to the binder. So we're not printing all the massive amounts of cards all at one time. Yeah, so, and again, another option would be to reduce the amount of cards they're able to collect per month. I have a question that says launching the Reading Dragons program, and if it's meant to be an ongoing program or for a set period of time, reading challenge for a few months, summer reading program, or ongoing with no definitive end. We have a really well-attended summer reading program, but during the school year, our numbers dropped. So we created this program to encourage kids to come to the library during the school year. We run the program from September through April, though we allow kids to collect their cards in May. Our summer reading program runs from June through July, and we have our 1 month buffer to plan and prep and change gears from summer vacation to the school season. So we run as few programs as possible during August and May. Yeah. And I guess we've already really talked about that. But if you want to run it as a summer reading program or part of a summer reading program, you could. If you just want to release cards just for special events, you could. If you want to do it all year long, you could. Like, it's really up to what would work for your community, and your community best. So we just do it for our school year because of those reasons of we are trying to engage kids during the school season. We have a question called, how do you share new card designs? So if you've made your own cards, we'd love you to share them with the group. You can share a PNG file of each of your card images in the Google Drive. There is a folder called number 4, share your cards here. And there are instructions in the folder about how to upload them to the folder and name them. So the naming scheme kind of shows where did these cards come from. And also if, say, 2 people decide to make strawberry dragons, which is totally okay because they'll be 2 completely different strawberry dragons, including the where it's from in the name scheme, helps it not to overwrite the one that's already there. So yeah, so everyone's welcome to use the share your cards folders, number 4, in the Google Drive to share cards with other libraries. Make sure that it is a PNG file because that has the best resolution. I have a question here that says, do you think this program could be altered to suit teens in grades 9 through 12? So Liz, being our teen
Yeah.
librarian, would you like to answer that question?
Absolutely. So I work with teens, and yeah, they would I think grades 9 through 12 might be a bit of a hard sell. Because that's like the high school age and they're too cool for anything you want them to do. I think some teens would really get into this, especially if they grew up with it and just didn't want to stop. I think that would be cool. And I think we've even had like kids who are getting to that point, but we still let them collect the cards. I do think you could, if you have interest from your teens, you could make it like more complicated, like have statistics like you would a D&D character. So like you could have strength and charisma and all that stuff. And like have different ways of playing with them, like even including like role play and like different things, like just make it more complicated. You could also have kind of darker creatures for teens, or just different themes like horror movie characters or something more mature. Like we were thinking about doing banned books themed dragons, and like one of the ones I was thinking of doing was Perks of Being a Wallflower. I'm not going to hand that book to one of the little kids that's doing reading dragons, but I think it would make a really cool looking dragon. So the teens, we wouldn't have to worry about that. You could also get teen artists into the design part of it. I think they would really get into it, especially since there is a free program that they can use to design them. And I think that would be really, really cool. We currently haven't had that many older kids tell us they want this. So, you know, I don't think here it would be I don't think it would take off here too much with the older kids. Our teens would probably think it's too much like homework, and anything remotely like homework, they don't do. Like just hands down, no, they won't do it. Which I get, they're here to have fun, not to yeah. Not to read more.
Yeah.
I don't think some of them are, but you know what I mean. It's too much work for them.
Max wants me to share the link to the Google Drive folder there. I would, except for I don't have my thing. Do you have yours up?
I don't have it up, but I can grab it. Yeah.
Liz is gonna grab it and drop it in. I'm sorry, I'm not using my personal computer, so I'm not logged into anything.
Start this
Yeah,
one.
so we'll drop it in there.
I think this should work. Get back to Zoom. Back to chat. Paste. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh,
We'll do it.
I think it did. Did I not?
It's not showing up on mine. Oh, wait. Nope. Nope, sorry, I'm showing up. It's late.
Can do it again, I guess. Well, wait a minute.
Sorry, we're having technical difficulties.
It's more, there's too much stuff on my screen is all. And that's participants. This is chat. Oh, I think I sent it to somebody as a direct message. I am sorry about that. You can ignore that.
Okay.
There we go. Sorry.
Okay, so the link to the Google Drive should be in there. Yeah, we welcome you to tell your colleagues about this program. Just pass along my or Liz's email address. We just like to know, who's got it, and don't share it with parents or children.
No cheating.
No parents and children are allowed to have the secret, super secret, top secret files. Because that kind of defeats the whole point, which is to get kids in the library and reading. I have a question here. How do you market this program? We have posters in the library. We have digital displays at our library, so digital posters. We do Facebook announcements for the new cards for each month, and post those on Facebook, and they can see what they're getting. We share a little blurb in the footnotes, which is our library newsletter. Each department has their own section of events. So in the children's section, we'll have a little blurb about the Reading Dragons and what it is and how they can join. The librarians at the children's desk talk it up to everybody who comes in, and that's actually the most powerful way to get people joining. And we also send information to the schools. Another question, do you collect statistics or is it a passive program? So this is considered a passive program, so we don't collect statistics on it. We do collect participation statistics when we run like the card tournament or other events related to it. So that would be things where a group of people come in to do a specific thing, right? Regular programming, but not on just people participating in the reading program. Do patrons get a prize for collecting them all? We don't offer a prize for collecting them all because we offer more dragons than they can possibly collect each year. And we add new dragons each month. So that would be a moving target that they would not be able to reach. So no, there's no prize for completing them, but we also don't complete or offer an extra prize for completing their tracker each year. But that is a really cool idea that we could potentially do. So whoever brought that up, great thoughts. We do give out special cards for certain events. Like we have a Where's Waldo themed card that kids can collect by finding a dragon hidden in the library newsletter. And we have tournament cards to give out as prizes to participants and winners of the tournaments. Another question, do you recycle the process for the next month or do you create new cards? So we've been running this program for 4 years now. And the kids can select their prize cards from any of the previously released cards from the very beginning of the program. So each year when we do this, we don't start from zero. We start from wherever we left off last year. So it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Although that might not work for everyone, and you are welcome to adjust it again to suit the needs of your community. But yeah, for us, we don't remove the previous cards. We just keep adding to them. That way, the kids who have been collecting things from the previous year, if they've been collecting them the previous year or any of the years, they can continue to collect the ones that they missed previously. So it's just a big growing collection. We don't want people to get worried that they won't ever get to see that card again, since we do release more than they could possibly collect. So if you are starting out, I recommend you don't start out with everything, that you just start out with about 7 card sets on your first month. That way they have choices and it makes those choices important to them. And then add a couple each month. That way there's enough to keep collecting. Oh no.
Sorry.
Yeah, so what Liz is doing here, man, that Protect Alpha thing is super useful because she's completely recoloring the line art without coloring outside of the line art. And
Yeah.
it's awesome.
And what's messing me up are there are like shortcut buttons on my tablet that are super helpful when I remember what they do and don't hit the wrong one. So that's why I accidentally erased part of it.
Yeah.
Like, Anyway, undo button is my friend. And I don't think you would necessarily have to do this.
Yeah, I stopped coloring the line art. for
Yeah,
now.
and I don't think anybody would notice, but it's just,
It
it's
does have a
something,
nice look to it.
just something I do.
Um, what incentive is there for returning participants, ones who have played already? So at the beginning of each year, we actually release 3 new starter cards with the tracker. So when they get their new tracker for the year, they have 3 brand new starter cards, which I keep meaning to add the editable tongue and mouth, not very good. The editable files for the starter cards, that would be the Phoenix, the Kelpie, and the Vanilla Unicorn. I just haven't yet, I'm sorry. But at some point, those will be added to the file so you can create your own starter cards. So anyway, each year there's a special new set of starter cards that they can only get by participating in that year's Reading Dragons program. And then, of course, each month we add new dragons to what they can collect. So there's always something new on offer. So no matter how much time they've spent collecting cards, there's always something new for them. We also have some extension activities, and I would love to make more extension activities and events that support this program. Again, time is an issue.
Yeah.
Time is always an issue. Yeah, and it's right now that
Yeah, you,
kind of acclimating to my new position
yeah.
as a manager, woohoo, and doing new stuff and, focusing on that more. It's been even harder for me to concentrate on doing things, but I'm sure once I acclimate to this, I'll be able to commit more time to doing Reading Dragons stuff. But yeah, so there's a whole folder called folder number 6, programming ideas, that has a handful of things that you can do besides collecting cards. There are 2 card games that you can play with the cards. There's the card tournament instructions. There's a coloring contest pages, a deck box that they can make to store their cards. It's like a coloring page deck box. There are summer vacation activities, because one of the things we like to do when the dragons return from their vacation. They have a little letter from the dragons that says, oh, this is what we did over vacation. So I think this year they went camping and they went to like they rode the merry-go-round or whatever.
Cool.
Yeah. So and then I drew like little Polaroids with some of the dragons partaking in that. So there's a really cute one that I'm very proud of that has a little snowy owl griffin riding on a merry-go-round horse. And I just used a photo of a merry-go-round horse from Canva. And I drew the little snowy owl griffin on top of that. So it looks like he's riding it. I thought it turned out good. So, I mean, that just might be me. But yeah, so little Polaroids of their adventure and a little letter. And then there's a little paper for the kids where they can write out what they did over the summer or draw a picture of what they did over the summer. It's up to them what they prefer. And then I have like a little summer scavenger hunt, word search. That's it. Word search. Yeah. That they can do with like summer fun words. Yeah, but yeah, I'd like to add a lot more things. I want to add more coloring pages. I think that would be fun. I only have 1 coloring page, so, and it has like a field of flowers and a dragon and a griffin hanging out and making flower crowns.
Super cute.
But I have heard that a lot of the other libraries have been doing fun things, like a scavenger hunt. There was one that was doing a scavenger hunt where they would visit all of their branch libraries and find out some fun facts about each library. That was a cool idea. So if you have ideas or anything, like it can be a small idea or a big idea, anything that you would like to share to enhance the program, you can definitely add that to folder number 6 with the programming ideas. Does anybody want to share in the chat right now, any cool activities or things that you have done at your library? Or thoughts you have about cool activities you could do?
Oops.
What happened?
I got confused. It's okay.
She deleted
I'm-
everything.
No, I didn't. I'm
Just
not.
kidding.
Actually.
Hmm.
That's a good point.
You saving it?
Yeah.
Yes, always remember to save. Don't lose your progress. Oh, look, I saw your cardinal that you said you
Oh
were
yeah,
making.
yeah. I'll open that. Yeah,
Aw,
this is my cardinal griffin,
that's really cute.
if it ever opens. So
Very cool. Yeah, the griffins are just really good for birds.
yeah.
They're so cute.
It's so adorable. Oh, I love the cardinal. Okay. Back to my strawberry.
Selena says, I'm new to all this, mostly trying to figure out if this is something I can feasibly do at my library. So, if you have
You're welcome.
questions, please share them in the chat and we'd be happy to answer them. If you're worried that this is something that can only be done by like a large library, it is not.
We are not a large
We are not a
library.
large library. Yes.
We are quite the opposite.
Very, very, very much the opposite. We are right next door to the county library in the town. That's our twin sister.
But we are not,
We are separate.
yeah, we are separate. We are independent. And so this is just something that we decided to do.
Yes. What is our population that we serve in
Ooh.
Dover?
I am not sure. I can Google that.
Yes, please. Please.
Dover,
find out
Ohio
for us.
population.
Dover, Ohio population. Like we are not a single library, but we are not a ginormous library. Does that say 13,000?
Yeah, it says 13,000, but
We
I
serve a population of
13,000.
People.
I was gonna go in here and see.
We do have a very supportive community that we are very grateful for. But yes, we are not a giant library. We do have some librarians who are single libraries who are going to be running this program or have started running this program. If any of you are here and you would like to mention that would be great. Says my problem is we're a large library with a small library staff. Ooh, 100,000 plus, and we're the only library, and it's just me and you.
Oof.
Yeah, that would be a problem.
That would be used. If I were in that position, I would just steal the cards that we are already making.
Yes.
And use those.
Yeah, if you can spend the time just to print and cut them out.
Yeah. Or
that's
have
okay.
volunteers do that.
Or volunteers, yeah. Wow. So like you're the children's library department all by your lonesome with 100,000 people. That is insane. That is insane. Our children's department has a children's manager and 2 part-time staff for the children's department in general, but we are very flexible with working with all of our departments. So if things need done, we all pull through and do them.
Yeah. I am the only team person.
Yes, Liz is in the boat department all by herself. She does everything and she's very good at it.
Well, thank you.
Yes, the teams love you. Yeah, they come into the front desk and they're like, "Where's Liz?"
Yeah, they don't want to talk. They don't want to talk
to us.
to anybody else. I've told them the other librarians are nice. You can talk to them. Like you don't have to wait till I'm here.
Yeah, no, they're sweet kids though.
They are.
Yeah,
Okay.
hopefully, like maybe you and the teen librarian could work together to figure something out. That way it's just not you by your lonesome. Cause yeah, that would be hard. So when I was working in the children's library, I did, well, like, I mean, I draw cards, Liz draws cards, but I was basically the person who print and cut all the cards. And I make like all the templates for the trickles and junk. But like the other people in the department, and even in the adult department, like they know what it's about, so they can say, hey, you should join the Reading Dragons. So I mean, it is possible to do the printing and cutting as a single librarian, but since you are like the manager of your department, that would be a lot harder. But I think you could probably figure something out. I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't know.
I'm fighting with seeds, so
Yes,
I
I see
I lost track.
It's smaller.
Yeah,
Um,
I lost track of the conversation a little
oh,
bit.
Floyd Branch says, do you just have the dragon on the card, or are there things like you mentioned with the letters? Yeah, so we have basically our card template is available in the files as just like the background with cards. And the template is available to use through Canva, since that's just a really easy to use program. We did draw the background ourselves and put it in there, and we put it in with text, or like the text boxes with a font that is usable by free Canva users. Yes. So you don't have to be a paid Canva subscriber to use the template or use the fonts, since we chose ones that were free and the template background is ours. So there's that. We just put like the dragons, griffins, unicorns, and now the Cerberuses on those cards. So I'm not exactly sure if I'm answering your question. It says, like you mentioned with the letters, do you mean like the summer vacation letters? Oh, do you mean, do I have the dragon art on the summer vacation letters? Yes, I do. Sorry, brain. Oh, so yeah, so if it is a holiday, do you have a special background? Oh, no, we don't have a special background, though that is a fantastic idea. I could very well imagine having like holly and cool things, or snow for Christmas would be very cool. We have not made a special background, but that's an idea. That's an idea to keep in mind. And of course, if you want to make your own backgrounds for it or add things to it, you can. Definitely a possibility. Oh, so I have a question here about how to play the basic game. So the basic game is rock, paper, scissors. So we chose this as the base for our game because even the youngest kids are able to play and understand this game, who are just learning to read, are super young kids, and they'd be able to play it perfectly fine. And for the older kids, it's kind of fun to try to guess who's gonna pick what card, and can I bluff them out about what card I'm picking. So it's also entertaining, even though it's a very simple game. It's also entertaining for the older kids as well. So as you know, each card has either red, blue, or green on the card background and on the little gemstone. And in the bottom corner, there's a little thing that shows the three colors and which colors be which colors, as just kind of a visual reminder when they're playing. And red, of course, beats green because fire burns up plants. Green beats blue because plants suck up water, and blue beats red because water puts out fire. So all they need to play the game is 3 cards, red, blue, and green, which they get when they get their tracker with their starter cards, because the intent was let them be able to play this game right away. So they just have their 3 cards, and without showing the opponent what they've picked, they will lay down the cards at the same time, whichever card they want, and then see who won. We have another version of this game called Rock, Paper, Scissors 4, and this is for kids when they've begun collecting more of the cards so that they can use all of their cards. We recommend that children write their names on each of their cards. And then, so it makes it fair for the kids, because, some kids might be collecting tons and tons of cards. Some kids might have just started and just have a smaller deck. So to make it fair, with their names written on the bottom of their cards so they don't get mixed up, they're actually going to mix their deck together, separate it in half like you would with the game War. And basically you're going to play War. So you'll have your deck with the cards face down. The players will draw the top card and turn it face up. So they're not actually choosing which card they play in this one. It's more of a game of chance. And the winner will place both of those cards in their points pile. If there is a tie, both players revealing the same color card, which will happen since there are only 3 colors. Then both players will also add 2 face down cards to their pile and flip over the 3rd card, and continuing that way just as you would in War, and then add them to their points pile. So we don't anything that's in their points pile, that's for like the end of the game scoring. They don't add that back into their deck to play again, because that would just make it go on forever. So anyway, once they finish and they run out of their cards, they see who has the most points in their points pile. And then when they're done, they return the cards to their original player. So they look and see whose name is on it and give it back to that person, because nobody wants to lose their cards.
Unless you're hardcore.
Unless you're hardcore, yeah. No, that might cause tears.
Well, that might be like how the teens would play. Like, nope, it's mine now.
Mine forever. I have a question. Will Strawberry Dragon be added to the Reading Dragons file?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I'm assuming you'll do that.
Yes.
I just color. Mallory makes all the cards, so I send everything to Mallory, and then Mallory does the rest. So.
Okay, so thinking of using this next summer, can we add our library's logo to your cards? We would not remove the creator's logo. Okay, so great question. I have had emails about this question before. So on each of the cards, and if you're making your own cards, so on all the cards that we make, we have the Dover Public Library's little colorful rainbow tree at the bottom. And whenever you make your own cards and you open up like the template, you'll notice that in the blank card background, there's space to put your logo, kind of like where we put ours, but it's not our logo because it's the card that you've designed with your colored cards. So whenever you're designing your own cards, you put your library logo on that to represent your library. And then when you share them with other libraries, they get to see who made that card. I think you might be asking if you can also add your library's logo on the card with the creator's logo. That's cool. Yeah, you can do that. So having both our logo on our cards and your logo, that's perfectly fine. Yes, but it's nice to not remove the logo of whichever library made the original card art, so that, like, say Camus, they've made quite a few cards in there. They're pretty cool. We want to make sure that we respect that they made those ones. And thank you. Yeah.
That's the right color. That's not the right color. Is it the right color? I don't know anymore. Good thing we're almost done because the colors are starting to blur together. It's all right. No one will
They're all
notice.
looking the same. It's just a blob.
It's just like
Um,
color. Okay.
Yeah. So we do have like the rules for all of the card games. They are actually in the extension activities folder number 6 in the Google Drive. So if you don't remember any of the rules that I've told you about the card game, you can find them there. There's also the tournament that you can run for your library, and there are a lot of resources for that tournament in there as well. For that one, the rules of how to play are structured a little bit differently. So kids are paired up. Doesn't matter what age they are. It's fine. They'll be okay, since it's, they're looking at their own cards and then they're choosing one to play. So you pair kids up. They'll make a choice of 5 cards that they lay face down in front of them without the other player seeing what they are. And the other player lays down their 5 face card. I can't talk anymore. Lays down their 5 cards face down as well, in a row across from those other cards. And then you guys decide you want to start from the right together or you want to start from the left. It doesn't really matter. They'll flip over the cards that are next to each other one at a time and see which card beats which card. So you might have, the 2 cards across from each other. One person has blue, one person has the red, and then you see, oh, okay, that's a point for that person. And then you go down the row, flipping over each of those cards and gaining points that way. So it's pretty simple. And then after they're done with that, they get to mark on their sheet. There's a little sheet that tracks their points. They get to mark on there that they won or lost the game and how many points they earned. Despite winning or losing, you want to put down how many points you earned, because that will be like a tiebreaker type thing. So then they'll move on, they'll play another kid, and they'll keep doing this for as many times as you guys want them to. I think I originally had them do 10 games, and that took a really long time. So I've reduced it to 5 games at a time, but you can, of course, do as many as you would like. I mean, they might zip through it really fast, or it might take forever. Because if they do have a tie in the points with their 5 cards, they'll each pick a new card to put out to try to break that tie. And I had one set of kids that had to do it like 4 times because they kept tying and flipping over the same card. Yeah, so then once they're completely done, you go around and say, who won the most games, and that could be the winner. But if you have 2 people who won the same amount of games, or 3 or 4, then you find out, okay, how many points did you guys earn? Because even if you lose a game, you're still earning points by winning each of those card sets. And then we have special cards that you can give to like the winner. There's a gold king dragon, and the second place person, there's a silver king dragon, although I would add extra sets in case there are ties, because there still might be ties. And then for all of the participants, there are these special tricolored dragons. Yeah, so it's pretty fun. Do you guys have any questions you would like to ask as we wrap this up? Ooh. Sarah says, just brainstorming, would you maybe have a Sphinx or cat type in the future? I want to say yes.
Valerie, get on
Yes.
that. Valerie.
I really like cats, so yes. And that's a good one. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll give it wings so it's magical.
A Sphinx is magical. Sphinx, yeah. Anyway,
It'll be a winged Sphinx.
Yeah.
It'll have wings.
I have wings.
That would be a fun idea. I like cats. She likes cats too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just finishing up the touches on my strawberry seeds here. Might be going a little crazy with them. That's okay.
Mm. Uh, Rick said, or is this for like learners? Did you say there was a dragon for tournament participants, not winners only? Yes, yes. So everybody who participates, they will get a special dragon. It's little dragon. It shows it's like holding all 3 starter cards, and it's got these like colorful stripes all over it. That's green, red, and blue. And those are the cards to give out for participating in the tournament. Another thing you could do is also grant participants a set of dragon cards, or whatever creature, a set of cards that they choose. That would be a cool gift too for participating. But yeah, again, it's up to you. You might come up with something even cooler. So you are also welcome to design your own tournament cards. So if you want to enhance that area of the program, you totally could. And if you want to share that with everybody, that would be awesome too.
All right.
All done?
Yeah. I'm just the last part is saving it. So it's saved with all of these layers in it right now, but we need them in separate forms. So I'm going to make these invisible so that there's just one visible, so a little dot there.
Is
And
your white background transparent now, or do you have to set it
Yes.
somehow to be transparent?
it is transparent now.
Okay.
And there's also, as you save, it asks you, do you want it to be a transparent background?
Hmm.
So we're
That's
gonna
good.
save as, and you can see all the image ones that I've done. Go to PNG.
She wants to know how to access the recording. We will be putting it in the Google Drive with the dragons, and just the front, the very first part that you see, we will have it in there.
And I'm just gonna call it Strawberry Dragon Adult. Save. Layers cannot be saved in this format. Okay. And we want it transparent PNG. Then we take that, make it invisible, go to the next stage, do it again. Save as. When I'm done saving them all, I send them to Mallory, who does the rest of it. Okay. What? Stop it. I want transparent. Why are you being
Yeah,
mean
so
to
saving
me?
it with the transparent background is very, very important. If you're using a different tool than Fire Alpaca, it will represent transparency differently. Like Photoshop and Procreate, and I think Paint Tool Sci all show a gray or blackish grid background to represent the seeing through to your worktop. So showing that it is not just a white background that is transparent, because you don't want a white square on your card around your dragon. You just want the dragon. So yeah, so transparency is super important.
Transparent.
Rick also asked, how long does it usually take from creation to get it into a printable PDF? Obviously, I know it will vary depending on how busy you all are. So yeah, so the actual, yeah. So the actual time it takes to add it to the cards, I would say that it doesn't take super long, probably less than 30 minutes. I've never timed myself. I'm sure it's way less than that. It's probably less than 15 minutes. But again, it is dependent on how busy things are, because like we were talking about, being responsible for lots of other different things, as I'm sure all of you are. It is hard to spend a lot of time on just one activity. Yeah.
So for the coloring portion, I have tied myself a couple of times. actually did a video of the cardinal one, and if you guys are interested, I can post that as well. Of how just I don't have any commentary to it. I just recorded while I was coloring, and that one took me about half an hour, and this one has taken me about an hour and a half. And I think that's pretty good for the more complicated ones. Now sometimes I'll add clothes. Actually, let me just open one of those real quick. Maybe. Just to show you guys like the different layers that I use. That won't work. That doesn't have layers. Okay. I'll open the Wicked Sister Dragon because it's the first one, otherwise known as the Wicked Witch of the East. So what's this one? Oh, that's the sparklies. So I have like everything in a new layer. This one probably took me a really long time, but I don't have the what it is. So I have the lines, and then I'll have so I make the lines first, then I make the color, the flat color, and then I'll add the shading in between. And I use a clipping layer, which I'll take it off of clipping for a minute, and you can kind of see what that does to it. Clipping layer makes it so that it only stays where layer 173 is.
So the previous layer, the layer below it.
Yeah, the layer below it. So it like trims it, so you don't have to be as careful with your shading, because you can clip it.
That's a useful shortcut.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
And then I have the light layer that I do the same way. So these are the shading layers, and then the lines on top. So I kind of like sandwich the necessary information in between there. But this one probably took me a long time. I did not time myself with this, but I would say probably like 2 hours. So it depends on the intensity of the coloring job that you're doing and what you're doing.
Yeah,
But
adding extras like clothes.
and sparklies and finding the right sparklies and putting them in the right spots.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Did you want to share with them your idea about coloring stream?
Oh, yes. Do I want to save? No, I don't, because I was messing with that one. All right. So I did have an idea. If you guys were interested, I was thinking about doing a monthly coloring stream. So I would just do a different kind of dragon or friend. And if there are any questions about what I'm doing, like how I'm doing it, that kind of thing, we could go over those. Would that be something you guys would be interested in? It would probably not be during work hours. Most of the time, I don't color these on work hours. This is something I do like as a hobby and while I'm watching YouTube, and stuff like that. So, and I just have so much other stuff going on here at the library that I just don't have time to sit and play on Fire Alpaca. I would love to, but I can't. So it would probably be in the evenings sometime. And I could record them all so you could watch them at your leisure, but just wanted to see if that would be something you guys would be interested in.
Yes, lots of yeses and thank yous. And Rick says, thank you for all your hard work. I'm so excited to launch this in the fall. I'm excited to design some dragons too. Yay! Yeah, we love to hear that. We love creative librarians. It's very fun. Yes, the intimidation of learning how to do it.
Stop share. There we go.
Yeah, you will do well.
Yeah.
And you can, of course, like if you are using a specific tool that's not Fire Alpaca or something else, there are tons of tutorials on YouTube that teach specific skills and different tools. So definitely check that out. And yeah, so if you want to send us an email, if you would like to be notified when Liz starts her coloring thing, or if you would also like a Procreate tutorial, please email us, or whoever. So you can either email Liz or myself. I hope you have our emails. If not, we actually have our emails public, our work emails public on the Dover Library website. And that's the Dover, Ohio version, because there's like 50 other Dovers in the United States. Ours usually comes up first, and we have a logo with a colorful tree.
Tree.
Yes, and you have it on your shirt, but yours
Yeah,
is a white.
yeah.
It's a people tree.
It's a people tree. Yes.
So it says, yeah, thank you for sharing and answering questions. This is definitely helpful.
All right.
So
So
anybody else have any questions before we sign off?
about anything about any like Fire Alpaca things or anything you would like?
Oh, no one has ever used this. I don't know if maybe I set the share settings wrong, but in the Google Drive, there is actually a Word document thing where you can suggest designs
Oh,
for creatures. So say like maybe your library doesn't have the staff or time to make your own, but you have like a fantastic idea for what you would like to see. You could write in there, I want to see a ballet dragon or a flaming unicorn. I don't know. whatever you think is a good idea, you can write it down, and you can include, who you are and if you want to be contacted if we make it. So I'm not going to make any promises about what we will be able to make, but that way, like, that information is there for anybody who would like to try their hand at creating something you had an idea for. There is also a map in the Google Drive where you can add your library, add like a little pin with your library. That way we can see where the Reading Dragons have traveled to and what other libraries are involved. I think right now there's around 30 something pins on the map, but I have received emails about this program from about 200 libraries. So it doesn't quite represent the actual numbers of who is involved. So if you would like to add your pin to the map so we can see how far they've traveled, that would be awesome. Is there anything else you would like to share, Ms. Liz?
just that I've written down everybody's ideas, and I will be I'll try to do those because you guys have some really, really good ideas, and that's always a fun part for me, like going through and like, ooh, what theme are we going to do next? And what are we going to do? And I always really like that part. So
That is a lot of fun.
it is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So
Do you have the Sphinx cat on there? I would draw you some line art.
yes, please. Mallory does all of our line art. I do coloring, but I'm not as good at line art as she is. So
Everybody just has different things. She is very good at art. Oh, she's also an author. I have to share that every time. I'm sorry. Liz has written a book that is just super fantastic. I'm her #1 fan. Yeah.
she is.
And like, I have other friends who have written books, but let me just say that hers is really, really good and could be published professionally. But it's called Teen Psychic. Yeah,
Yes,
it's a great YA book.
Thank you, Mallory.
You're welcome. She never talks about her book to other people herself. She's very humble and.
Well, I'm also being paid by the library. I feel like shameless self-promotion is not what I'm being paid to do.
Well, I'm not saying that they should buy it. You should buy it. What I'm saying is that you should totally read it if it's available to your library. Add that to your to be read pile.
Anyway.
Teen Psychic.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm embarrassed.
All right. So thank you all for coming. If there are no more questions, we'll stop babbling, I guess, and I'll stop babbling, and we'll see you next time. And definitely I'll post around if we do the if when we do a streaming day, I'm thinking about ways to make that work. So um be on the lookout, and you might get another email from me with another link to follow. So all
Yeah.
right. So thank you so much for coming and spending some time with us and designing the strawberry dragon. And hope to see you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.